Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of The Beat for the Fall 2016 semester. I'm your host and opinions reporter for Riverside City College's Viewpoints, Jonathan Van Niel, and I'm joined today by Assistant Editor of Photography, Geovanny Guzman, and by Opinions Editor, Jonathan Ramirez. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing fine. I'm glad that everyone's here. So what we're going to be doing today is that we're actually going to be covering a little bit of arts and entertainment. We're going to actually discuss what we thought about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
Who wants to start first? Who has the biggest rant here?
I think that's you, very clearly.
That's me? Okay. So, I was really excited to see this. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. And when I went to see this, I went in separating Harry Potter, the original films, from this. And I had many problems. Mainly, the fact that there was no character development, pretty much no story. It all involved in an adventure. And if people like that, that is great. I personally like, a bit of exposition to the world of this, to this vast world that is comparable to Lord of the Rings. It has this mythology around it, and I got nothing from it.
I feel as though that it fulfilled everything in terms of adventure and just an escape into fantasy, Like, the book itself wasn't exactly meant for a story. It was meant mostly for just another piece to this Harry Potter universe. That's what I got from it.
I tend to agree more so with Geovanny in regards to it didn't really have a story. The characters began and ended in the same fashion. They didn't change whatsoever. They more so spent the film correcting mistakes that they themselves caused. The story can pretty much be summed up with,
fantastic, with the title of the movie.
Yes, by the title of the film, and that's it. And that's pretty much where all of the budget went in terms of just creating this amazing spectacle with, it was just visually.
The beasts.
It was just, exactly, but particularly with the filmmaking itself, it's like the budget was majority going towards making a visually appealing world opposed to actually investing in, a dense story. It appeals to a lot of people. Yes, surprisingly.
Wow.
Appealed to me.
I mean, everyone is entitled to enjoy what they enjoy. Film is subjective, like any art form. It just didn't appeal to me much. It was very much so a strange, boring sort of film. It felt to me like the pitch for it was, what would Harry Potter be with a lot more teleporting and with these incredibly visually stylized creatures, but have less interesting characters while we're at it.
See, I'm upset that it was a huge missed opportunity. This is the first time where we get to spend most of our time in the Muggle world. I want to see the inner mechanics of how wizards operate in the Muggle world. It was a missed opportunity completely, and I have a rant about the ending. It involves spoilers, of course. Pretty much everyone in New York, uncovers the fact that there's wizards. And we get a Deus Ex in which everyone just forgets, of course, with the power of a wand. It, like John was telling me earlier, there were no real stakes. It was simply an easy resolution. I didn't feel any tension whatsoever.
Well, I went into it with low expectations. I wasn't exactly expecting a predominant dense story. I was just going into it expecting to know more about mythological beasts and stuff like that. That's
Harry Potter mythological beasts.
Exactly. I wasn't expecting a dense story. I didn't because that's not exactly what the book was about either.
So you knew this was just going to be beasts and catching and nothing else?
Well,
Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
The story part of Fantastic Beasts and where to find them in the book is a very, very small part of it. So, most of it has to do with an almanac of the beasts themselves. So
maybe this story shouldn't have been adapted then, because
at the same time, we can say that it probably shouldn't be adapted because there wasn't a strong source material to base the film off of.
Exactly.
But at the same time,
that's a good point.
But at the same time, it's like, this is Hollywood. They're going to make a film out of anything. I mean, is it controlled by Disney? Is this a Disney property? Or no, this is Warner Brothers. I forgot this is Warner Brothers. But in Disney-like fashion, it's Hollywood stuff. So basically, Disney made a movie about Pirates of the Caribbean, which was a ride. So it's not out of the
But see,
realm.
Pirates of the Caribbean was actually good. The
It was
story was great.
It was
the
a
first
good
one.
film. It was a good film. The first one, at least.
Of course, yeah.
But it
first
was
one.
nonetheless, it was based off of a ride. So
But they
that's,
did a good one. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
as long
I'm
as
saying.
you can do a film about anything.
I know, but that was I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that to my point, it's just because it doesn't have a strong basis for, you know, the source material wasn't a strong foundation to base the film off of. It's not something that should deter a filmmaker from making this, you know, into a full-length feature film.
Exactly. Okay.
But
we agree on that one.
yeah, but my biggest problem with the film is, yes, there were no stakes. The characters stayed exactly the same. Their perils were the same from the beginning to the end. We have to find the beast. We have to find the beast, and we have to restore order.
Where are the beasts?
Exactly. So it nothing
It's
changed.
in the title too. So.
Yeah, exactly. If you read the title of the book or the book or the film, you didn't really need to watch the film whatsoever. You already have the beginning, middle, and end. It didn't really set the foundation for anything stronger than what we saw in the actual film. I don't think that there's really anything interesting that could happen to these characters particularly.
I just think they need better writing because the actors are good.
Yeah, the screenwriting was a little strange. I think that yes, I agree that they had a very strong pool of actors to get stuff out of, but go for it.
I have a second rant. I love Colin Farrell. I think he's a fantastic actor. And man, was he underappreciated here. I think his character was just written...
He's an excellent actor, and I didn't feel as though that he was given anything. To work with whatsoever.
What do you think is a characteristic from Colin Farrell's character? What was his name?
I don't even remember.
Well,
That's how forgettable he is.
Yeah, exactly. He was extremely... He was Greenwald in disguise,
Greaves,
right?
Greenwald or Greenweld, whatever.
So-
Grindelwald.
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 So tell me a characteristic from him. Character.
Overzealous, and just order bound.
Yeah, there was really nothing.
Nothing else.
I was trying to understand his character, and I got nothing.
He was very one-dimensional, not a fully faceted character whatsoever. There was no in between with him. It was just, I'm the mustache twirler, and that's it.
He didn't even twirl his mustache.
Exactly.
That would have added some dimension at least.
And particularly with the final reveal that he's the big bad of
Johnny
this.
Depp.
Exactly. I felt as though it was way too telegraphed. The fact that they had the exact same hairstyle, and the cinematographer decided to focus on that in the beginning of the film, thinking that the audience wasn't going to connect those dots earlier on. I think that was sort of not insulting, but at the same time, I would have liked for it to be a little less telegraphed than what it actually was. But I understand why they did it. But I would say overall, this film for me personally is like a light 7, maybe a high 6 at the best.
I would say a strong 6.
A strong 6, light 7 at best. It depends on my mood, honestly.
Yeah, if you want.
I'm a good 8.5.
Wow,
Yeah.
an 8.5 from John.
Well, Jonathan Ramirez.
Or Jonathan Ramirez. We have two Johns here.
We have two Johns.
Two Johns in the room.
Yes.
But I have to say, I hope that J.K. Rowling sticks to books. I don't think she's a good screenwriter.
My only final notes on this, like, since I'm the only one that's like pro this movie, like, go out and watch it. It's just like, it's just another way to like dive into the whole atmosphere of like fantasy. Like it still retains the same Harry Potter charm.
I don't think it has any of the charm at all.
I think so.
How so? Explain to me the charm.
Well, there was that one scene where
That
they
one
step
scene.
they step into the suitcase and they're entered into this whole new world that constantly changed perspective and atmosphere, and you're introduced to all the different beasts that he had. That's something that's like only Harry Potter and that kind of type of franchise can do.
Does it mean? I mean, I did enjoy the suitcase scene. Just when they're going in, it did have a sense of wonder. But
Of course, yeah, that's what it is.
But after they go inside, we get all these beasts, and that's all it is. Just fantastic mythical beasts, and it's amusing for the first hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just becomes dull and repetitive. I think the best way to describe this movie, personally, for me, is repetitive.
I do agree with it getting kind of dull and repetitive, but I mean, I still give it such a high rating because of just because of the charm that I felt throughout the whole movie.
Okay. Final thoughts?
I mean, for I can see why it would be so appealing to other people because it has a lot of the visualistic, you know, sort of it has that visualistic appeal. It's not appealing to me because I am looking for substance. I am looking for something that's going to actually give these characters a real storyline that's going to push these characters to their brinks. I understand that it's a built-in storyline and you can't really do much with that sort of foundation because there is a Harry Potter and you have to make sure that things are intact so that storyline later on makes sense. But at the same time, if you aren't going to be given enough creative freedom to actually flesh out this world and give these characters some real stakes to talk about, or to endure rather, why make the movie then? Why make this? If it's just going to be a spectacle. I mean, you quite literally could have just gone to Universal Studios and made a ride about Fantastic Beasts if that's the case.
It was absolutely right. I think that's the best word to describe it. It was a spectacle.
Yeah, it felt very much so like an amusement park opposed to a movie.
Exactly. It was an adventure. It wasn't character or story driven at all. And that person, I'm a story and character driven person. Yeah. And that is why I did not like this movie.
I'm very driven by art and creativeness when it comes to thinking of character design and stuff like this. Like creature, the design of the creatures, like how
it felt too CGI. It was
so different. No, it's still very much driven by art and creativity.
Okay. I mean, the design were good, but the CGI took me too much out of it.
Like. Should they made a movie out of this? Probably not. I would have much rather seen like a movie out of like Tale of Beetle and the Bard. But
I personally would like to see a movie that is the in between. And I mean, J.K. Rowling has even alluded to perhaps penning a novel for this, but it was the in between the aftermath of Deathly Hallows Part 2. And what we saw when they were leaving their children at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2 for Hogwarts.
You know what? I want J.K. Rowling and Emma Watson and what's that name of Ron? His real name?
I forgot his name.
Let's call him Ron Weasley.
But Ron Weasley's that's his actual name. But the actor's name?
Yeah, the actor's name.
I don't know the actor's name, unfortunately.
I really hope that they get older. And we get another Harry Potter
that would be awesome.
The same characters. That would be fantastic.
That would be awesome. I would very much so like to see, because I know that basically they spent a lot of time cleaning up Hogwarts and cleaning up because there were still factions of Voldemort's followers that were a part of that were present during that time, and basically Ron and Harry basically spent their time cleaning that up. So it would be a nice buddy cop film.
I don't understand how, as a parent, you can possibly send your kid to Hogwarts. Like, horrible stuff goes down every year. Students die. It's like, how do you feel safe about this school? It's ridiculous. I mean, then again, it's fantasy.
Exactly, it's fantasy. It's not supposed to have that sort of aspect to it. Exactly. You are supposed to suspend some of your belief.
A lot of this, of course. It's people with wands, yes,
definitely. But I mean, any final thoughts?
I've said mine.
No, it wasn't that great. There you go. That's my final thought.
Light 7 at maximum for me.
You know what? I'll go
6.
down 5.
That's terrible. But I would advise everyone, don't just listen to our opinions on the film. Go out and see it for yourself and construct your own views about it. I would obviously prefer you guys to assess it on your own terms opposed to allowing us to color your opinion.
Yeah, please do.
So we're signing out. Thank you so much for listening to us and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.